Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Go.
Hey, folks, welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast. What are you laughing at?
I didn't think you were going to go. I was like, go. And you're like,
no, we're going to go and keep recording because this is funny. Anyway, welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast, episode 50. Hey, it's a celebration. Celebrate 50. Come on. Oh, anyway,
No.
I was going to get one of those little popper things, but I was just too tired to go to the store. Like,
That doesn't look like a popper to me.
Thrown some confetti.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. So anyway, this week we're going to do something fun. This was my idea. We're going to do a little topic this week called What If? And we'll get into more of that.
That's right, y'all. Dennis said it was his idea, so if it sucks, there you go. You know,
I'm telling you, I think
know
this
who
is
to send hate mail to.
This is going to be a fun topic. It really is, because there's no wrong answers. And
Well, what's gonna be really funny is when all three of us have one of the topics that's exactly the same. That would be hilarious.
Not going to happen.
I thought about that.
Hilarious.
I thought about
Not gonna
that.
happen.
I'm going to go first.
I seriously doubt it will happen, but if it did happen, it would be hilarious.
All right. But anyway, just to remind people, I'm joined tonight with Mr. Alan Tate. Say hey.
Hey.
And Mr. Bill over here. Oh no!
Hey, oh no!
So you got Mr.
No,
Bill and
Mr.
two
Bill,
idiots.
Mr. Bill Algie. We're gonna give him some cred. He's the guy with the kiss thing behind his head. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna get to that. But like I said, last week we had
turban.
I love that. I want to see that shirt up close because from a distance that thing looks perfect.
I wouldn't show it to him up close. You're never going to get it back.
Well, it's probably.
No, I mean
it's going to disintegrate soon enough.
I know. Well, yeah, if you're throwing it around like this and all willy
It's
nilly.
been hanging in my garage for like 21 years.
like he really cherishes it, you know.
Yeah.
At that point. All right. So anyway, before that, last week we had Mitch on. We appreciate him coming on. We had a great time talking to Mitch. He's always a lot of fun. But we did make a little road trip right before that episode, so we didn't get to talk about. We mentioned it in very small talk, but I thought we'd bring it up now. We all took a trip to Louisville to the Mercury Ballroom and saw Stryper. Was it last Sunday night?
It was.
Wasn't it?
2 weeks ago.
No, 2 weeks ago, Sunday night. Sorry.
Yeah.
My weekends are getting mixed up. But anyway, guys, start talking about what do you think? What do you think?
That was my first time seeing Stryper, and actually that is the most Stryper songs I've ever heard in a row in my life because I never was a Stryper fan as a teenager.
Sure.
That's one of those bands that really never hit my radar, and I never heard anything about them until the wave had come and gone for the hair bands or whatever. And
Sure.
Personally, I never was really into Christian music as a kid growing up, and I think that had to do a lot with the fact that I grew up in a
heathen.
kind of I kind of am a heathen because I grew up in a Southern Baptist, better than you.
Oh yeah,
that kind of family. So no, I heard everything other than what they expected me to hear because it was kind of a rebellion,
Right, exactly.
Sure.
But I really enjoyed the show. They are a tight band. I thoroughly loved watching Robert Sweet play those drums.
It was definitely
now
entertainment.
I understand why he turns his drum set sideways.
It's cool, man.
I mean,
It is.
that right there was worth the price of the ticket to me. Was just watching him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he get done at the end, he was just exhausted.
That one time when he kicked his feet up on the drums, I just about fell over.
Yeah,
He's just done. It's cool.
Bill,
I think he's got a little hair thing going on there. He had a whole Donald Trump thing going on. Did you guys notice that?
I think he's got some work. They've extended a few of those hairs. What do you think?
I think the hair back here is really long to make this hair look like there's a lot of it. So
Maybe.
I'm not sure how he voted, but it looked like Trumpish to me. I thought it was a great show, actually. So they did the entire To Hell with the Devil. It was the 30th anniversary. They did that front to back, and I thought it was kind of cool that Michael Sweet came out at the beginning, said this is what we're going to do. They went right into it and said we're going to take a 5-minute break after we finish the entire album, and we'll come back out and knock a few more out. And they were, they finished the 9 or 10 songs off the album, and then they were gone for, I don't even know if they were gone 10 minutes. It was quick.
It wasn't even
It
that
wasn't very
long.
fast.
Because they even made
really
jokes
cool.
about taking a shower, and it's like, dude, they weren't gone. They went back there long enough to take their clothes, change clothes, and then that was it.
Yeah, and they changed out of some of the yellow, the yellow and black stuff, and kind of got rid of that. But
Oz, I don't know how he got through that first set, because
I'm telling you,
that
that
shit
was
he was
miserable.
wearing, dude, I've been sweating. I'd have probably passed out at that point.
it looked, but it was cool. I mean, they sounded
cool.
great. I mean, they really. That was. I went up to the sound guy after the show too, and I asked him. I said, "Did you mix this?" Because there was a couple of guys that were up there, and he said, "Yeah, I was in charge of this tonight." And I said, "Man, you did a great job. It sounded
It was fantastic,
really, really good. I mean, it was really good for a venue that small. It's not a very big place. I don't know how many guys think it holds, maybe 1,500 people. It holds more than that.
I don't even think it holds that many. I honestly don't. I know there was an upstairs to that place.
I never went up there. So
my only drawback to that place was the fact of you just couldn't sit down. Man, it's standing there for a long. I mean, my feet.
You're just too old.
I was getting ready to say Dennis is getting
Good
old.
God.
It'd been nice to have a bar stool to sit on or something.
There was a bench back there by the bar. You should have went and sat down, Pat Ball.
I should have went to that. And the fact that the bathrooms are right next to where the stage is. I mean, you have to walk kind of have to swirl through the crowd to get to the bathrooms. Other than that, I love that place. I think the Mercury Ballroom, and I would be curious to see if other bands that have been there, if the sound is. I mean, they had that mix. You couldn't have got it better.
Yeah, they have a lot of shows there too. I mean, I've looked at the list. There's quite a few things that come there.
I would definitely go back. I like that.
I think Hairbanger's Ball is going to be there.
I've got 6 tickets to see a Kiss tribute there on December 30th.
I have 2. I ought to bring Noah down there. Noah'd love that.
Yeah, I've got 6 tickets. I'm seriously thinking about dragging some people over there.
I might do that. Noah might go.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's an all-age thing. It
I'm
seems
sure
we need to check into that.
because if it is, he'd be cool. He'd like to go.
There was kids at the Striper show.
Yeah, and they have a bar, so it's Kentucky. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? They probably don't.
You know, I did ask for moonshine. They didn't have any. That shocked me.
Tell them about the funny story about what happened when we first came into the place. So,
Alan, you want to talk about that?
it was really cool.
Sure. So Dennis and Bill and I we get to Louisville, plenty of time, go get us something to eat. Come back to the venue, we're walking in the door, and out of the nowhere, these 3 guys are standing off to the side. We've been waiting all night to see you guys. Well, it turns out...
We're not Striper.
It turns out that our good friend Billy Hardaway told the guys from Off Our Meds podcast that we were coming to the show, and we ended up hanging out with those guys for a little bit and chatting back and forth, and we took a picture for Billy's private entertainment. I don't know if that picture made it online or not, but yeah, we were giving Billy some sign language, and one of the guys, the guy that took the picture, his name is Mike. He's one of the Off Our Meds podcast guys. He texted it to me, and we've been pretty much texting on a regular basis every day, back and forth, talking about each other's shows and pointing out things that we think are funny about each other's shows. So I think we've made some good friends with the new podcast, and
they were really good guys. Really good guys.
At some point, I would like for Off Our Meds and Ages of Rock to do a crossover show together. That would be pretty fun. So,
that'd be fun.
Their web address is offourmedspodcast.com. Y'all make sure you check them out. Those guys are funny, and they're from Kentucky.
There's a business card.
And they are from Kentucky, so they're not all bad. And that's all I've got to say about that, Lieutenant Dan.
Awesome.
Funny stuff.
Yes.
It was a good show, though. They played for how long did they play? Like an hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah.
They played 19
songs, right?
19 songs. And they played Heaven and Hell from Black Sabbath and then followed it up with Kisses Shouted Out Loud. I mean, how great is that? Because he even said, he goes, you'll be surprised. You know, they did that covering album here a few years ago, which I knew that they, you know, they do Kansas, they do a bunch of stuff on there. So, I mean, and the fact that they said, well, these are the people you're growing up, you know, we grew up with, and you're thinking they're going to say Petra, which, you know, they mentioned 3 or 4 other, you know, heavy metal gospel bands. They said, no, you know, we grew up listening to Kiss and Black Sabbath and here's a little bit of what we learned, what we grew up with, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, it was neat.
No, it was a good show. I tell you what, man, those guys, they sound, like I said, the sound was good. His voice, for 53 years old, man, he sounded really good. I mean, it was a little bit, I kind of went back and listened to the album again after, and I've kind of looked at the videos that I actually filmed up there. And
yeah, he's in a lower register.
He's a lower, but you know what? It's great.
He still sounds good.
Hell, he was singing for Boston here a while back.
Yep.
Tom Stokes calls him up and said, "Hey, come see him," because Brad's not singing anymore because he's not he's not living. So he brought him in, and
that usually does take you out of the game.
That does. It's like going
death just pretty much takes you right out. But Michael Sweet's got a new album. He's got a new album out. It's out now, and then they just announced yesterday, I think it was, they're going to do another, him and George Lynch are going to do another
I didn't know they did
Sweet and
something
Lynch
before, so that'd be
Lynch and Sweet album, something like that. Yeah, I've heard the first one was really good. So good stuff there.
Awesome. All righty. Anything else you guys want to promote, talk about?
I'm trying to think of what else is coming up. I'm going to see Steel Panther in about a month.
Oh, is it still going? That's awesome.
I think.
Was that Cincinnati?
No, Indy.
Or Indy, that's right.
Yeah,
that's during the week though, right?
Friday night.
But I'm gonna be getting surgery. Well, actually, we'll talk about that here in the next probably podcast.
Well,
I'll be getting surgery here first week of December, so I'm gonna be down and out. So we'll probably be doing a podcast with me sitting on the couch with an iPad.
We need to do some
I'm gonna be
podcast with you on your meds.
I will be on my meds hard. If I am still hurting, I'm going to be.
We'll see if that one holds up as good as the Lost episode.
Lost episode. And Alan, you should be ashamed of that one.
How about the Kiss Cruise? I've seen some video from that. I wasn't that impressed with the set list. We talked a little bit about it last time, but I've seen some more video now, and I guess they did basically that set at the in Mexico. They headlined a show, which I thought it was very ironic. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but Twisted Sister was the second bill below Kiss on the show.
They wore their Creatures outfits too. Do you see that?
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that I wonder if Paul, walked by D and said, "Hey, just want to let you know we're headlining."
Yeah. Take that.
And you're not. And by the way, you're going to take it because that's
there again. Be like Stryper, and if you're going to promote the Creatures of the Night, cruise, then play the Creatures of the Night in its entirety.
Well,
I thought that was the plan. I thought that was what they were trying to
do.
I have to give them, or especially Paul, props because knowing Paul's vocal issues, I don't think they did. I don't think they did. I Still Love You.
There were
no, they didn't.
And
the other songs he did, that whole song or that whole album is a very high register album. It's
that's
the
beginning
of
that's the beginning
of that's when the beginning of the getting as high as I can get, and it was bad. But
anyway, not a bad set list, but not like the greatest. But it was different.
There was a couple. Anyway. They pulled one off of his solo album.
Yeah, one of him and Gene's.
Radioactive. Yeah.
It was funny when they played Radioactive. I listened to it, but when they played it and they were doing the introduction, and Gene says, or Paul says, "We're going to play a song off of Gene's solo album," and somebody goes, "When You Wish Upon a Star."
Now,
like please God, no.
Now, one thing that I did notice about the video for Radioactive, whoever filmed it, was standing around a bunch of enthusiastic singers because you could hear the band and everybody around singing.
You know what? Gene had about 23 background singers on that album.
Well, the interesting thing was there's only like
Reddy. He had all these other Cher. He had Katie Sagal. Yeah, Katie Sagal. Helen. All these people. It's like going, holy shit.
We didn't have to remember too many of the words. I mean, the song's only like 3 minutes and 2 seconds. I mean, it's pretty short.
She's radioactive. She's very selective. There you go. We're done.
Yeah,
we're done.
There you go. Pretty much done.
Well, speaking of the Kiss Cruise, did you guys see the video of Evan Stanley and Nick Simmons doing Led Zeppelin?
All right, we
Yeah, I
had
thought
the,
it was good.
Okay, Dennis, hold on. Let Bill say what he's got to say.
I thought it was really good. I thought that Nick's got a great voice, and Evan is very talented. I've seen him on a couple of different things. He has a different band that I've seen some video of his, and I think those are both two very talented kids, and or guys, I guess. And the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree, I don't think. But I don't think they'd ever do anything together. I don't think that's really what it's about. But
yeah,
it was cool. I thought it did, and I thought they sounded great. It was
for
fun.
what it was, I thought it was great. Go ahead.
And you never
Dennis.
know that could have been a
Right.
just a second that could have been one of those things where they were was there any prep for that at all, or was it just
I would
called
say
him on
there,
Friday
I would
before
say
they
there
left?
was not any prep.
I don't think there was.
Well, I bet Evan is a Led Zeppelin fan because Paul is a Led Zeppelin fan.
Yeah.
But I bet because Nick seems to me he's more of a Doors fan. So the fact that he didn't know the lyrics to a Led Zeppelin song didn't really surprise me all of that much.
He's definitely a blues fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a blues kid. So,
And having said that, Dennis, go.
go ahead.
No,
Dennis.
on an all in all, basically just a thing about it. It was good. It was good. I'm not gonna give any shit about it. The two things that bothered me about it was the fact of that Nick was reading off of an iPad for the lyrics. That bugs. And Al and I had this conversation earlier in the week. That just bugs the dog shit out of me. I mean, either if you're a singer, Evan learned his guitar parts. He didn't have a cheat sheet or YouTube showing him how to play the video as he was playing his guitar. Nick should have learned that song. He's reading every lyric off that iPad. Number 2, get rid of the man bun. Nick has that man bun going on.
Did he have a man bun? I didn't realize.
Yeah. He's got longer hair, and I caught it at one point. He turned around, he had that. Get rid of the man bun. So see that, Alan, that wasn't that bad of a. I wasn't gonna really.
But you're gonna roast him.
That much crap.
I haven't seen any video from any of the other bands, though. Have you?
You people just did not get to see the text messages that were flowing back and forth.
I
because
know.
the vitriol that come from Dennis was
I don't like people who
over the top.
read lyrics.
Don't come to
I
one of my
I-
acoustic gigs then, because I probably got an iPad up there.
Well, and that's fine. I mean, if that's what you got to do, but it's just but you're playing guitar and singing.
Yeah.
So
That's
there,
interesting. Noah,
But still, when I play bass and sing, I don't have notes in front of me.
there you go. So there you go.
I took Noah one time to an open mic thing at like Panera Bread here. One of them had an open night thing. It was a fundraiser for somebody. And so we went, and he's kind of sitting there, and he kind of acts like he wants to play. This has been a couple of years ago, but he doesn't play. Actually, he told me he went to a party a couple weeks ago.
He told me that. Said he
for the
played
first time he
yeah.
doesn't play in front of people. And he's like, I said, do you want to play? And he goes, well, I don't know. Those guys are all using like iPads, and I don't have my music with me. And I said, well, just here, look it up on my phone. It's cool. Just look it up. And he goes, no, I don't want to do that. It doesn't look very good. And he said that. So
He's a good kid. Way to go.
Yeah, he's all right.
Now, I will say, one time Chuck and I were playing an acoustic gig at a VFW here in Evansville, and somebody requested a Nirvana song. I don't remember which one it was.
Right.
But I said, I know the words to it. And Chuck's like, hang on a second. And he looked it up real quick. All right, I know the chords. We played it that way, but he didn't follow along.
No, I mean, if it's one of your songs in your repertoire, that's what pisses me off.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been in situations like that. Now, Gina still to this day, and I love her to death, but she'll still write the first words to the couple. If she has an issue, she'll write the first words of the song on her arm or on her hand, and that's fine. I don't mind that. That kind of thing, because they're reminders. And I used to do that. I used to sing a Weezer song, and I never could remember the first of each. I always mix the two lyrics up, so I would write the first word down, and
that's
as soon as
the
I
way
do
I
the first
am.
word.
That's the way I am.
So
with
once you
Come
do
Together.
that, that's fine. Yeah, exactly. But
of course, you can get those lyrics in the wrong order, and nobody cares because it's nonsensical.
and the thing is,
anyway.
I'd rather see somebody make shit up than to read it off of a
They're
card.
all reading it off a teleprompter now.
Oh, I know.
Paul and Gene and everybody. I mean,
John, when we opened up our Mellencamp,
I think Michael Sweet was reading off the teleprompter.
He was. A friend of mine sent me a picture. He saes, I just saw somebody post this. That's a teleprompter he's using.
Yep.
Because
okay.
That is not a sound monitor.
No, it's a teleprompter.
I don't care. Anyway. I mean, if it's up there like it's the presidential podium where it's got the speech on the thing, that's not.
Kelly and them said whenever she saw Kelly's dad and them took him to see Frank Sinatra when he came into Evansville, right toward the end before he passed away. He did a concert here in Evansville, and he sang off a teleprompter the whole night. Now this guy's been singing the same.
Well, yeah, but he's like 150 years old.
I know. So you have to be.
He's got a lot of crap to remember.
That's true.
Like crap.
New York. What's the next line, please?
What is it? New York, New Jersey. Oh, sorry. So anyway, all right, you guys ready to get started on this?
Let's dive into the big topic.
Let's go, man.
All right. So anyway, this topic came about because I was thinking about, in life anything can happen, and in this last year, look what's happened this year. The Cubs. They're the sports team that's probably, they've had like the worst losing record of being a championship team for how many years? 100?
108.
It was over 100 years.
108.
Okay. And then they win they're the world champions, win the World Series. Then he had this election that came through. I'm going to mention it. And the fact of that, everybody thought it was wrapped up and everybody was like, guess what? Wrong. I worked on that all day.
Ian does that impression very well.
Wrong. But I'm saying, so anyway, this is a what if situation.
I might protest you that you said that.
So basically what I propose to these two ding dongs is that we're going to give, each of us have probably two what if situations. And just one of those things, and I gave him a example over a text, and I don't even say what the example is because somebody might have used it. But the thing was,
the assumption was you used it. You didn't use it?
I don't remember an example.
I gotta go find out what it was.
Who's going second?
Damn,
but anyway, we're going to use what if situations, and it's just going to be a discussion. There's no right or wrong answers. It's just going to be kind of fun. So, you want me to start?
Well, this is your topic.
Sure. That way
all right.
I would be happy to start.
All right.
That way, if we all chose the same topic. I'm talking like Dennis now.
I'm curious to see if this one. I think this is going to be the one everybody picked.
You go ahead and start, Dennis. This is your show idea.
No, I'm going to. Oh, all right. Here we go. The Beatles.
Damn it. No, just kidding.
No,
Are you shitting me?
Their last show was January 30th in 1969. Their last live show together on a rooftop of their Apple production company on the rooftop. They did a 42-minute set. They did 9 takes of 5 songs, which ended up being filmed, and it was put on actually the Let It Be movie. The Beatles, that was the last time that they were together, and it was not a nice breakup. I mean, it was a horrible breakup. I mean, the niceties were gone at that point. Now, John Lennon died December 8th of 1980. He was shot. But there again, you got to think about too. Before I get into that, I got a little ahead of myself. When the Beatles did break up,
you got too many notes, dude.
No, I do. John, I mean,
that shit
think about. No, listen to this. When the Beatles did break, they all went and actually had very successful careers. I mean, if you want to call Ringo successful, he had his All-American band or whatever the hell, All-Star band. But Paul, I almost said Stanley. Did you notice that? Paul McCartney went off with his wife and made Wings, and started that band. No, they made Wings. They started Wings. But anyway, which was a highly successful, super successful band. John Lennon went in and made a couple of things, and then Double Fantasy, right before he passed away, Double Fantasy was released. And that was a huge, huge album. Harrison did some solo stuff, and then ended up with the Traveling Wilburys right before he passed away. And he passed away in 2000.
That was way before, right before.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a long time ago.
Well, 2001. He passed away in 2001, so it'd been the late 90s is whenever the Wilburys come out. But from 1969 to the 90s, I mean, that was 20 years that it took for him to get to that point. My what if is if John Lennon.
Your math is bad, Dennis.
Dude, you need to. Hey,
No,
hold that
the
paper
last
up.
time they played was 69. All right. So 30 years.
There you go.
He passed away. Anyway. You fuckers.
Okay, for those of you that don't know it, Dennis never, ever, ever, ever does homework or look stuff up. And so tonight he's bragging as he's texting us all evening long going, I can't wait to do the show tonight because I'm prepared. I've got all this stuff. And the dude can't do math worth a shit.
Right. So anyway, here we go. I can't read my own writing is what it is. So anyway,
what's the question, dude?
Here's my what if situation. I was just setting it up. I thought it would be nice to get a little facts. So Billy was like going, that dude knows what he's talking about.
No, Billy's
That's the
going
right
get
thing.
to the point.
Okay. All right. If John Lennon would not have been shot and would have survived and stayed the same, and also I don't even know if Harrison needed to be taken away from cancer at 2001. But do you think the Beatles would have, if they were all surviving, would have reunited at some point after the success of what they've done? I know Ringo would be like one. Yeah.
I think they were really kind of close even right before John Lennon died.
I don't see.
Because I had read a lot of articles and stuff like that they were George Harrison was kind of the holdout but he was starting to come around and I think they were close. I do think that. Yeah.
So then my question was, say if they did reunite, what do you think would they have recorded more material, or you think they would have just did what they've their catalog that they had? Do you think that they would have?
I think they probably would have started out just doing some kind of tour and performing music they had already recorded.
Right.
And if that tour was successful and they got along well enough, they may have tried to record something and then see where it went from there.
Yeah. See, I didn't know all about. I figured at the point whenever John Lennon passed away that him and Paul were not still. They weren't talking at that point, were they?
Yeah, they had been back in contact for a couple of years, I believe.
Yeah, I think they were really pretty. I mean, I remember reading some stuff back then.
That would have been 1980. That would have been.
I thought they were close to doing something.
See, I wasn't for sure about that. So I'm not a big Beatles fan. I do like Paul McCartney and the Wings stuff, but I was never a big Beatles fan. But this is one of the quick. That's when we did the what if. I was like, oh, what if everybody survived? Would we have seen a reunion at some point?
Yeah, I actually think they would have recorded some new music because I think that would have really sparked it as well. And
that'd been cool.
I think that's what I think, and I think they'd have done a big tour and it'd have been ridiculously made $1 bazillion.
Oh, it would have been like.
I don't know that it did. I don't know that it really would have mattered because they had $1 bazillion anyway. But I mean, I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but I definitely like some of their stuff.
Right.
They were definitely influenced. Maybe I should say they were definitely under the influence.
It would have been good to see them do, say, a live performance like they do now with like Metallica and Kiss and all those people do with the symphony. Actually do do Sgt. Pepper and do some of the the White, some of the stuff that had some of the orchestrated parts in it, and do that live with an orchestra.
That would have been pretty sweet.
Super cool. That would have been super cool.
It's interesting that was your question because you know what my first question was that I wrote down?
What's that?
You're never gonna. I swear to God, it's right here.
No, I can believe you.
What would have happened if the Beatles would have stayed together? That was my first question.
That's what I should have asked, but then I went a long way around with all the dates and stuff. So anyway, good job, Bill.
Research is highly overrated, Dennis.
Well, I tried to come up with something I didn't think you guys would come up with, so I picked that. I'm like,
I figured you guys would all be Kiss something or else or something. Okay. I did have a Kiss one, but I didn't go with it. So anyway.
So what if
Right,
they would have stayed together?
Huh?
What if they would have stayed together? Do you think it would have changed anything?
They would have ended up breaking
No,
up
no,
anyway.
they would have needed the time off to get the shit out because, like I said, Paul and Yoko, that Yoko shit was all messed up. So John went and did his stuff, did Double Fantasy, but there again he was doing hits. He was getting radio play on hits. Harrison got whatever, I don't know if he had issues, but he had some hits, with himself, and then with the Traveling Wilburys, hell, he had that Got Myself Set on You or whatever that song. That was a huge MTV hit. Hell, he had MTV, there for a while. Ringo just does Ringo, whatever he's going to do. But I think whenever Linda died, maybe at that point, it would have been about when he would have did like a reunion. I think it would have been later. I don't think it would have been as soon as you think it would. I think it would have been more the 90s when they would have reunited.
I don't know.
That would be my...
I would guess mid-'80s on that, because they had split in 69 or 70, a 10 or 15-year break. That's a lot of bands. That's about when they start coming back together.
I think if they Bill's idea, though, if they would have stayed together, I don't think that it'd probably been worse. They probably hated each other worse.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah, probably.
I think it wasn't just the music. There was a lot of internal hate in that band, for a long time. So
a lot of jealousy. And egos. Huge egos.
Eagles.
Yeah.
The Eagles.
Yep. The Eagles.
The Eagles. Huge Eagles.
Eagles. See? All right. Who wants to go next?
Bill.
I did mine.
No,
my first one was the Beatles. What would have? Yes, I did. What would they have?
Oh, was that
Like
legitimately
they stayed together?
That
was legitimately my question.
Okay.
He didn't just write it down just then. He just that was his first one.
All right. Well, then I guess it's my turn.
Like minds think great stuff, don't they?
Well, I pondered a Beatles question.
Right.
No, I'm glad I didn't.
I'm glad you didn't either.
So that's interesting though, Alan. So why did you ponder a Beatles question?
Because Beatles are one of my favorite bands.
Is it because they're just
But of course the question
influential of all rock bands?
Well,
to some degree?
Well, there's a big question.
There is that degree, yes. But my question, of course, you're going to notice a pattern with my questions is how would things have turned out had John Lennon not died?
Right.
So moving on to
would they have reunited? Is that what you're saying?
Something to that
same
effect,
basic thing that we're talking about now.
Interesting.
Which I think would happen. Yeah.
See,
it's just funny that we all came up with the same thing.
Well, the thing about them reuniting, Double Fantasy recorded, and it wasn't released until after he died.
Right.
So would it have been as successful an album as it was had he not died?
That's a good question. That's a good.
Because there's a lot of good music on that album.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it.
John wrote. I tell you what, John and Yoko wrote a lot of crappy shit too.
What?
Some stuff that I would even put on my player. You know what I'm saying?
Stuff that would scare your cat.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying though.
But to your point though, would it have been lost in the rest of the music world and not had the notoriety because he'd passed?
Right.
Highly possible.
That's a good question.
But that would have been my what if I had picked a Beatles question was, would that album have done better had he not passed away? And if it had not done all that well, would that have made a Beatles reunion happen quicker?
That's a good question.
So
it's actually better than mine. Of my long bunch of dates. Next time I have an idea, you just run with it and go.
So now that I'm not going to ask that question,
right.
My what if is, what if Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim Morrison had not joined the 27 Club?
That's my
my God.
That is my next fucking question. But
not
no.
anymore, bitch.
Well, I had a little bit of a. I cannot believe that.
I knew that
at
least two of us were going to get that one.
We gotta probably.
I was not going to get that one.
No.
No.
We don't need to
Well,
ever coordinate. It makes it more
I had
funny.
died and the 10 months apart and all that stuff. And I even had Kurt Cobain's in that
Well,
club, Amy Winehouse is in that club.
That's part of
and,
what I'm going to bring up, you know.
motherfucker.
Well, thank you all. Good night.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
the
but
explicit
seriously
thing just went
though,
up.
but seriously though, you know, Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison especially are
Right.
put on these pedestals that personally I don't think either one deserve to be given as much accolades and praise as they're given. You
I
know,
agree.
I
I agree.
think that one of the reasons, and the same with Kurt Cobain. I love Nirvana. I love the band Nirvana, but I think that he and the other two, you know, not so much Janis Joplin, you know, because she kind of had a catalog of her own, and with
Right.
what's the holding company? What's the name of her
Yeah,
band?
I had it
Yeah.
written down.
But had those guys not died, what other music would they put out, and would they still have been regarded as having been the influential music gods that they were, for lack of a better term?
Right. Wait, okay.
Go ahead, Dennis.
That's the craziest shit ever. Because like I said, I had the same. I mean, I even got 27 Club written down. We're like it's like a magician.
That is the weirdest thing.
But here, and I'll just go with this, and we'll add this too. There we go. Here was my thing was, and I had the same, but my question was going to be the same, and I'm going to put it out here the way we can all talk about it. Is the fact of that, they all died, the 27 Club. If they hadn't have had that addiction or beat that addiction, they would all be about 70, what would I figure, 74, 75 years old right now at that point. Which one of Hendrix, Morrison, and Joplin would have had a better career? Which one would have survived longer in the music industry?
Well, let's finish with
was my
Alan's question first.
But no,
We
I
didn't
like
answer
Alan's questions too. Go
But
ahead.
I think those are both very relevant questions.
But go ahead with Alan's question. You answer that one. You got to think about it.
Well, so I think Alan's question was, would they be relevant, right? Or would they have had the notoriety that they ended up with after they died, right?
Basically,
Is that
that's
the question?
it. Yes.
Yeah. I would say Jim Morrison, no. I think he was just in my opinion, I think he was just a flash in the pan. I've never been a big Doors fan. I've never thought Jim Morrison was that much of a great singer. And I don't know, just not a big, huge fan. Jimi Hendrix, probably, because I think he took the guitar playing to a level that hadn't been taken to yet with what he was able to do with the guitar.
Well, just because you can set a guitar on fire.
I don't know if it was just the fire part.
And take your thumb and wrap it all down to the bottom of the other E string, the low E, the high string.
I just think he did some very unique stuff with the guitar. And Janis Joplin, I don't know. Janis would have been, I don't know. She'd have been around. I don't know if anything she did was really magical. But when you go back and listen to me and Bobby McGee and some of those songs, I mean, they're pretty cool.
Have you ever seen any of her live performance videos?
I have seen some of her live, and she's, I have seen some of them, and it's very interesting because if you look back, there's some old Bette Midler video, and she's got that very Janis Joplin-y. She does. I think she.
Is that when she's playing in the
Rose?
clubs in
She's the Rose.
when she's playing in the clubs in San Francisco, and Barry Manilow's her piano.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that. Barry played piano for a long time.
Yeah, it's really kind of.
A man of Manilow.
You're a Manilow fan. We know that.
Manilow.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. So I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah,
who else is on that list?
No, but
Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, to a lesser extent, Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones. He was 27 when he died. And then you've got Amy Winehouse. And
then you got
I did look up a list. There's a bunch of rappers that died at 27.
Oh, there's a shit job of rappers. I'm not going. Who's Dickie D or
and the list was like murder, Murder,
Yeah.
overdose,
Shot,
murder.
shot.
Anyway,
East Coast shooting the
My
West
thing
Coast.
would my thing would be I think Morrison would have went on to writing. I think he would have been an author. I think music would have he would have got out of music because I think he was a wordsmith
he was more into poetry than he was
and
music.
poetry.
Yeah.
So he would have did more poetry. He would have did more books and writing and stuff like that. I don't think he was. I don't think music was his thing. Joplin, Jess Joplin, I think is an early Melissa Etheridge. I mean, she is a speaker for a for a group of people, so she would have been an early Melissa Etheridge, and I think that she would have continued on. Honestly, I think she would be probably the most successful of the three. If you're going Hendrix, Morrison, and Joplin, I think she would be the most successful. Hendrix, I think, would have kept experimenting, and I think he would have probably been like Kiss and done a Elder or something where it really tanked. And I think that, I don't know. I don't know what Hendrix, but he would have cleaned up. See, so if Hendrix did a lot of this stuff with the help of medications. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if these three would have cleaned up enough to live to be, to be 70 years old, I think Jimmy would be in the same limelight as Chuck Berry. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It was a time, it was a thing. I don't think he would have adapted to later guitar playing. Honestly, I and that's just me. This is my own opinion.
That's a valid point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he'd be locked in. He's locked into a certain specific thing, which he's good at playing. Don't get me wrong. He's great at playing that. But I don't think he would have moved on. I think he would have stayed with what he played with, and it being like, here's the psychedelic Jimi Hendrix at 60 years old, playing his. He'd be playing shit.
But
that
don't
he
you think
played.
don't you think
he's
that's
left-handed?
Yeah.
Right, well, yeah, okay.
Don't you think that's true though of most guitar players? I mean, don't you think you could probably shut your eyes and if somebody played certain guitar players, you could know exactly who it was?
Oh,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
And the thing
so
is,
yeah.
this thing has been. What was it? I was reading one time. Oh, Ted Nugent one time picked up Eddie Van Halen's rig. It's like, I'm going to sound like Eddie right now. But he started playing and he sounded like Ted. It's not the rig either. It's the person playing it. There's a personality to every player that plays an instrument. And it doesn't matter if you put me on Ted Nugent's rig. I can try to play Ted Nugent. It's not going to sound like Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
But Ted could
That's
play
because
my
you're
shit.
Dennis.
It's going to be
Well,
Dennis,
damn.
so it's going to sound like Turd Nugent.
It's going to. I like that.
Sorry.
Anyway, that's it. You know what though? Once again, I guess one of these days when we figure out that we're gonna probably pick all the same shit, we need to probably talk.
Yeah.
Though I want it to be more spontaneous, where we don't.
It is spontaneous. Let it go, man.
It's
Let it go.
funny though. It's funny.
That's
I
what
cannot
makes it
believe
work.
that we.
There's two questions. The first two questions, we all
right.
At least two people picked the same kind of questions.
So has anybody else got anything else, or I've got actually some extra ones that I've got in my head.
I've got a couple other ones.
Oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
Bill. Knock one out.
So, what if Nikki
If
Sixx
it's the
would
one
have-
I'm thinking of, I'm gonna just flip.
Stop.
I'm gonna write it down. Hold on. I'm gonna write it down real quick.
He ruined it.
No,
I said part of it. You heard me.
no, I didn't hear anything. What now?
What if Nikki Sixx would have actually died?
Oh, that's not it. That's not, it.
Not even close.
Not even close what I was thinking about. What if Nikki Sixx died?
What? Oh yeah.
That would actually be kind of nice, actually.
Oh, that is just wrong.
I did not say
Wow.
that. I'm sorry.
That is
He
wrong.
he's kind of an ass, but no, I don't.
Well,
I
but
don't-
yeah, but because the reason I asked the question is because I don't think Motley Crue would have existed after
when
he
was
died.
it?
No,
he,
Nikki
Because
Sixx
I don't think
owns
they
Motley
could have.
Crue.
Because
At what
he
point
was
did
the
he-
guy.
but at what point did he OD? When was that? What
That
album?
was- I
was that?
believe that was during the Dr. Feelgood era. Yeah.
So you've already had that
So
No, that was before that. Dr. Feelgood was when he was cleaned up, right?
That was on Girls, Girls, Girls.
Yeah, it was Girls,
yeah.
Girls. So it was, Feel Good was the first album after Girls,
So all
Girls,
the
Girls.
best albums were made by that point, and I don't care about the rest of them. I don't think it mattered, to be honest. I honestly don't think so. You went and got a reunion tour and or a the final tour, but I really honestly don't care for anything past, Shout at the Devil.
Too Fast for Love.
I mean, I like the Dr. Feelgood album.
There was a couple.
I like almost all of those songs on there.
The first 4 Motley Crue albums, I mean, Shout at the Devil was my introduction to Motley Crue.
Right.
And then you had Theater of Pain, and I love that one. Girls, Girls, Girls was, this ain't about you, Dennis. This is my opinion. So quit shaking your head. I know where you live. But Girls, Girls, Girls came out during my senior year in high school. So, those 3 albums hold special places in my heart.
Right.
Just for, Shout at the Devil being the first one. Then I got introduced to Too Fast for Love during the Girls, Girls, Girls era.
Awesome.
So when Dr. Feelgood came out, there were a few songs on there I was like, this is not Motley like. So there's a few songs on that album. I could do without almost the whole second side of that record, actually.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was interesting because I think, musically, I think Nicky brings, he brought a lot to that band, but he writes for a lot of other people.
Right.
And,
yeah, Nicky wrote a lot.
And I just think that was, I don't know. I think there'd be something missing in the rock world.
I have to agree with what Dennis said. They pretty well peaked with their.
Yeah, I mean, after that point,
After that point, Dr. Feelgood didn't do as well as the rest of them, and then Corabi came in with the Motley Crue album, which that's a great album, but it's not a great Motley Crue album.
No, you're right.
People think that seems to be their best album.
And then,
but it's
the
not
new
a Motley
Tattoo
Crue
and Generation Swine, all of that
Right.
stuff. It was just different. So I kind of have to agree with Dennis.
Okay.
I don't want to see anybody. I was joking on that part, but the part was, I just don't. I think that their biggest stuff was written and played through before that. Once he got to that point where he OD'd, I think that afterwards it was, it is.
What if he died only one time? Because he died like 4 times, right?
Some other guy talks about it.
All right. Well, that was interesting. I got
the one I wrote down. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go.
No, the one I wrote down was, what if Ace couldn't have found his 2 shoes that weren't matching and Bob Kulick got the job? Do you think Kiss would have been as successful with Bob Kulick?
No.
Alan's the first one to go.
I don't think. I think they'd have kicked him out long before.
Yeah, I think he
would
have
have had to worry about the liquor and the drugs kicking him out. I think Gene and Paul would have kicked him out because that would have been 3 egos that did not work.
An ego that didn't work. Yeah,
that's what I think.
That was one of the ones that I was that was one of the ones I first thought of. But well, that was quick.
No, I mean, I just don't think it would have worked. But it's like that with all bands, right? The bands become bands like that because of who gets in the right place at the right time, and
exactly
in that magic that happens, and
my other one
doesn't last forever, and that's what makes people get freaked out because they think it has to last forever. It's not going to last forever. It doesn't work that way. But I think
to put out a live one, would they be where they're at now?
No.
I don't think so either.
Well,
I think
their entire record label was tanking.
I mean, at that point they were done. That was only
Bill Coyne was financing them on an American Express, so they were on their way to bankrupt city.
So anyway,
not Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny though? I think that's just so hilarious. We have not. I mean, honestly, and to the audience out there, we have not talked about anything. Actually the one that I was saying was, if Randy Rhoads wouldn't have got killed in that plane crash.
I pondered that one too.
That was the one that I took. That was the one that I said that was an example. If Randy wouldn't have got killed in that plane crash, what do you think would have happened at that point. You know,
He was on his way out of Ozzy's band.
He'd have played a little while longer in Ozzy's band, and then he went and got another band. And
Ozzy's even talked about, even on the bus trip down, but right before he got killed, he was talking about he was wanting to get out. And he didn't want to play that no more. So he would have been gone. But what would have Randy done at that point? You know, what would he have done?
Right.
Would he have been kind of, you know, the American version of Bean Bay that nobody cares about and gained a shitload of weight?
I don't know. I know from what I read, he
another guest that we'll never have on our podcast.
Yeah, well, I'd always read that Randy wanted to get out of Ozzy because he wanted to play some more of the classical, because he's a classically trained guitarist.
Yeah, he was not into rock. I mean, he was into rock, but he wanted to play classical. I'm like you. That's the same thing I've heard a million times.
So it could have been more of a Joe Bonamassa kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit more in that, you know, maybe kind of thing. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I had another one too. So what did you have another one, Alan?
No, or I didn't.
No, go ahead.
So what if grunge didn't happen?
Something else would have taken its place.
That one too. I thought about that one too, dude.
We all did.
I still think hair.
So
metal.
what if that Nirvana needle? What if that record that never got dropped on a Nirvana album?
We may have got more of hair metal than we really wanted.
Something was still going to come in, and
it would have got uglier. But like Al said, something would have come in and killed it. I mean, it was dying. Yeah. They were killing themselves.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, you look at Skid Row and Guns N' Roses,
right?
Because they're not. I mean, they get lumped in with hair metal, but those guys do not look the part. Right. You know, they don't look glam, anything like that. They look like they just forgot how to take a bath.
They didn't take a bath. Gross. They didn't cut their hair. They got tattoos. They're fucking skanky. I mean, that wasn't hair metal.
I remember thinking, they're gross. I remember thinking how gross they look. They're gross. I don't even want to listen. They're so gross. I don't even want to listen to it.
You're like looking at their picture going, that dude's got VD, herpes, you know, just keep going down the line. He's got something that they don't even know what the hell it is. You know?
They haven't discovered yet. We're going to have a telethon to discover what he has.
You just need to take a fire hose to the whole band. Just do that. You know?
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought, what if that never would have happened? And I agree. I mean, it would have been
something would have killed it. I mean,
something else is going to come along, and it happens. It happens all the time, right? It happens every so many years. Something new comes along and kind of gets things rolling.
New metal killed grunge,
and it may have been worse than grunge. I mean, how bad could that be?
It could be new metal, which is worse than grunge.
Yeah. Milli Vanilli.
I got
one last one.
Okay, but this is so fun. Like I said, this has been so fun tonight. You fuckers, this is so fun. Seriously, we gotta quit doing some. We gotta quit doing surprise stuff because it's just like we all think alike.
Oh,
you missed the obvious though.
Hold on a second. I've got something to say.
What's that?
Foo Fighters, Spotify, SoundCloud.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was going to ask that. That was going to be. That was my segue.
Oh.
Damn.
So my segue was.
Also, anyway,
if grunge wouldn't have happened, there'd have been no who.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Foo.
Or Spotify.
There'd been no Foo. But the other part of that was what happened if there was no Napster.
Now there'd be some Spotify. That's what.
Now there wouldn't have been no Spotify.
So they would have came out.
Well, now you say,
clear.
What if there'd have been no Napster? Something would have been there to do the same thing. I mean, there were you had the Share Bear or Bear Share, whatever it was, Kazaa. There were a bunch of them. Napster's.
I forgot about Kazaa.
Napster is just the one. Yeah. Not that I ever used these services. No.
Oh, I did. I used the shit out of them.
We all did. If anybody said they did, they're lying.
What was the one that had the viruses all over it, and I would download shit? No, there was another one.
Kazaa was Bear Share or whatever that one was.
There was another one, and I can't think of the name of it. It's not what you said.
Somebody will tell us.
But it was one
made on this show.
About every third one you download, it'd be a virus. And it was like, holy shit, you know. Anyway.
Need a disclaimer at the end of this show for sure.
That's great. and number two, those guys that with the off their meds, we were joking with those and hanging out with those guys. I said 2 Sundays ago, and they were funny. And the guy come up to me, he said, "You know what?" He goes, and I was wearing a Foo Fighter shirt, so that was the fact of that they sent. What was it? They sent not Chris, but they sent Billy a picture of a guy, and he was like going, "Who in the fuck wears a Foo Fighter shirt to a Striper concert?" And they go, "This guy." We were all flipping him off.
We
They said
also met one of the writers for Decibel Geek.
yes, we did, and that was cool.
Yep.
But he was like, he goes, "You guys, every week, you got something about Foo Fighters and Spotify." And I'm like going, "You actually catch that?" And it is so funny. And thank everybody for doing that. That's funny.
His name
The interesting thing about that Striper show is I had a Kiss t-shirt on.
Yeah, right.
And so did about
half the
a whole
crowd.
bunch of other people.
There was a bunch of people that
There were a bunch of Kiss t-shirts and a bunch of Iron Maiden t-shirts. And then there was like, and then some dork wore a Foo Fighters t-shirt.
That was me.
And then there were like 10 Striper shirts. I mean, it was funny.
the Foo guy.
Which, by the way, the fella from the Decibel Geek's name is Derek Novak.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is he the one that had the Decibel Geek shirt on? Oh, okay. I didn't know if he. Well, I didn't know
How
if
do
he
you
just
think I
bought
knew
it.
he was from Decibel Geek? Ding dong.
Well, ding dong! I have a Three Sides T-shirt. And I've never been on that damn show. And I don't even listen to it anymore.
You don't
so
even
there.
watch. You don't wear the shirt either. So you got the trifecta.
Wore it one time. I can't even give it away.
I got one.
Well, but
All right.
I bought it when Mitch was on the show because I thought it was cool.
Did you guys have fun tonight? Was this a fun? I think it's more fun to find out. It's just funny. It's just funny that we all picked the same shit again. It just rips my brain out.
Here's something you'll think's funny.
What's that?
A buddy of mine that listens to it from work came up to me today. Goes, I've been listening to more of your podcasts. I really enjoy it. I said, really? What do you like about it? He goes, well, you guys talk a lot about stuff I don't really know about music, like some of the backstory and stuff like that, and some of those really kind of interesting facts. And I'm like, facts? I said, dude, there's no facts on. Okay, yeah, great, thanks, man. Really appreciate that.
It's like there's no crying in baseball. There's no facts in the podcast.
You said facts. I'm like, what?
Hey, don't none of us even have a fax machine.
You associate, our thing with facts. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
So there's a shout out to you, Jeff. Thanks for listening, man. Appreciate it.
You know what though? I put facts. There's facts on this paper this week. So
I don't know. We can't see it. You're just giving us all a migraine.
He couldn't read it. If I
all right, let's wrap it up.
All right, folks.
I tell you what, Alan, go for it.
Don't forget to visit us on agesofrock.com. Check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I've actually put a few things on there. Getting a little better using it.
You need to.
Till next time. Hashtag. Peace out, folks. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.